months. This morning, Rodrigo Bentancur had a knee MRI after the injury yesterday at Leicester. The recovery will be long, at least 6 months, and that's from a tier 1 source called Baisan.
I think he's a Uruguayan, is he?
Yeah, Uruguayan journalist. So look, it's not looking good. And when you're looking at this game specifically against Milan, you've got Bissouma out for a long-term injury, Bentancur out for the rest of the season, Højbjerg suspended. So we're going to have to go with Pape Matar and Ollie Skip in the middle of the park.
Look, we'll talk about Milan later, but just looking at where this leaves our season now with this app, let's not get it twisted. This is devastating news, absolutely devastating for our season. Bentancur has been by far and away our best midfielder. In my opinion, he's been one of the best centre mids in the league this season, especially over the past few months. He is so crucial to how we play with our. He's the only player, it seems, who's able to get the ball into feet and retain the ball and progress the ball up the pitch, off the ball as well. He is absolutely vital. He's irreplaceable in a way off the ball. His ability to cover ground, his ability to win tackles in the centre of the pitch, high up the pitch, in the centre of the pitch, even running back and covering the centre backs. I don't think we have another player who's got that ability to the level that he does. So with him now missing for 6 months, coupled with the fact that Bissouma's having surgery, so he's not going to be available for the foreseeable future as well. So if there was any kind of half positive of, there are no positives of Bentancur being injured, but if there's even maybe a silver cloud of, maybe we can finally integrate Bissouma and actually just give him a run of games to feel his way into the team, and him being that midfielder who we put a lot of trust in the beginning of the season and giving him an opportunity to play his way into the team, that's now not a possibility because he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. So Højbjerg, I know he's suspended on Wednesday, but he's going to be heavily relied upon from now to the end of the season. We know what Højbjerg can look like when he doesn't have a partner next to him who can cover as much ground as he does or can really help him out like Bentancur does. You see Højbjerg very often, his forms to start to slump a bit as well when he's not next to Bentancur. So it's going to be heavily relied upon Skip and Sarr from now to the end of the season. Two very young midfielders having a lot of responsibility on their shoulders in a very crucial area of the pitch where we're especially in the formation we play, it's so much responsibility on them to not be overrun and to cover a lot of ground. And whether they're up to it, it's going to be a kind of a sink or swim kind of situation at the moment now for Sarr or Skip. No, sink or swim. These are very highly rated young players, and let's not shit on them just because they haven't been, like Sarr's been all right, but Skip hasn't been great this season.
It's not about shitting on them, but can they do it week in, week out, every single game?
They're going to make mistakes.
2 games a week. They're going to make mistakes until the end of the season.
Probably not, but they're going to make mistakes. They're going to have to learn the ropes, but we're going to have to hope that at some point in this season it starts to click for them.
A couple of games, but they're not going to swim all the way through till the end of the season, like Bentancur potentially would have.
It's devastating. No doubt about it.
It's the worst news we could have got. It really is. And when you're looking at the state of the squad now, earlier on in the season we had detrimental injuries to the front line, which really hurt us. Now we've got detrimental injuries to the midfield that's going to really hurt us. Our goalkeeper as well has got a really long-term injury, so God knows when he's going to be back. They're saying like 6 weeks or something like that. All it needs now is big injuries into our defence, and that's the trifecta, isn't it? And we have been so unlucky with injuries this season. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how this can keep happening consistently throughout the whole season. How unlucky can one team get?
Yeah, and this kind of injury as well is... that's not even like, you can put it down to anything other than bad luck. It's just a bad challenge from a Leicester player, and he's got a really serious knee injury now, Bentancur. And as well, these type of injuries, as bad as it is, like... you never know how if he's ever going to. Hopefully he does, but you see like people like Van Dijk, he's just not been the same ever since that injury. As much as he's been back to a decent level. He's not like finished, but he hasn't been as good as he was before that injury, Van Dijk. And hopefully Bentancur doesn't go that route. We wish him a speedy recovery.
Just got him back as well.
Yeah. we wish him a speedy recovery. Hopefully he comes back and gets back to the level that he was, over the past few months, because he was playing at such a high level, and it was, and he scored as well yesterday. Adding more those goal contributions, and he was playing so well. So to have this injury at this time is just really puts us on our knees. It's a disaster. It is an absolute disaster. There's no two ways about it. And where we go from here with these long-term injuries, him, Basuma now injured, Lloris injured. Honestly, it's tough to think about a future this season where we have Skip and Sarr helping out Højbjerg to a consistent level, and thinking that we can actually achieve something that maybe last week you were thinking, there's still a lot to play for, but now I don't know. I honestly, it's hard to see something positive. The only positive I can see is it'll really help the development of Skip and Sarr, hopefully, over the next few months and maybe next season. This passage of play will really help them bed in and actually maybe become consistent or reliable performance for us next season, because then maybe hopefully they'll get this run of games now and get those mistakes out of the way and really learn the system and whatever. But right now,
by the way, on top
difficult.
of these injuries, someone's just reminded me Sessegnon as well out for 6 weeks.
Forgot about that.
That's another injury compounding. So that means Perisic is going to have to play every single game, and with the way he's playing at the moment, asking him to play even more games than when we were planning for him is a disaster waiting to happen as well.
And also, it just completely makes the Doherty contract completely laughable at this point. The fact that Sessegnon's out for 6 weeks, when we had a player like Doherty who's shown in the Spurs shirt he can play on the left hand side to a decent level if need be. And this is exactly the kind of situation you need someone like Doherty around to play on the left hand side to cover both positions. And it would have been all right if we would have just kept him, and he may not have been in the Champions League squad, but you can keep him just for the Premier League, have Perisic in the Champions League, and then you might be in an okay position. But right now, with Doherty, with his contract being cancelled, he's no longer an option. The Session now out for at least 6 weeks. We're relying pretty much on Perisic to play every game, or you might want to play Emerson there or something, and he's not going to be a good option going forward at least. So that position as well is pretty much down to all of a sudden down to the bare bones. And if an injury to Perisic, all of a sudden, there's no one there to play in that position. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do. All of a sudden, it's like we were full bill of health. 1 week ago, we were full bill of health. And all of a sudden...
One game
it's just got... So, for me, as much as the result was terrible yesterday, and it was kind of like the result and the performance was kind of a big slap down to reality. What's really been a kick in the teeth, in my opinion, has been what's happened to our squad through injuries, and that really makes me worried. It's like we've gone from so much hope, full bill of health, keeping more clean sheets, defence getting back to somewhat normality, and it's kind of been gone to shit pretty much within a game, and all of a sudden. You can't. I mean, I'm just looking at the bigger picture now. With all these players injured, going to second half of the season off the back of a terrible result as well. It's going to take some rallying and some. It's going to take a hell of a lot to pull ourselves back up from this position right now with this injury news. I don't know. I just have this terrible feeling that. The season is going to get from bad to worse, because who knows what injuries around the corner now, and it kind of feels like every game now it's like any more injuries to key positions right now, and we are just in the mud. And you could argue we're probably in the mud already with the centre mids, but any more injuries is like, I don't know where we go from here. And right now it's tough to think about, and it's worrying times. Absolutely worrying times.
Like we've all bemoaned the state of the squad since the summer, for forever, to be honest. But I'm talking about specifically this season. We all bemoaned the state of the squad, the lack of players on the bench and all that kind of stuff, and we've had all these injuries on top of that to contend with all season. I mean, how unlucky can Conte get? Because I feel like if we had our full squad with minimal injuries from the start of the season till now, we would be in a really good spot. And to be fair, we are in a fairly good spot right now with these injuries that we've had to contend with. Not too far outside the top four, in the latter stage of the FA Cup, got Champions League last 16 this week, and this is with the compounding injuries that we've had. So imagine if we had a fully fit squad to pick out from this season. it wouldn't be so bad. And it's only so bad this season because of how many injuries that we've actually got. That's what's made this season so bad and so doom and gloom, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's to do with that. A lot of it's to do with obviously the way we're playing, but the injuries have definitely hurt us, especially at crucial times this season. That definitely hasn't helped.
Had to contend with it.
Yeah, and we had one game. We had one blissful game where everything was going well.
That was the best game of the season as well. Our best performance of the season.
Yeah, and now we're just, I don't know. It's tough to. It's really tough to think about where this leaves us. To be honest, this Bentancur injury just is so devastating. It really is. Yeah. It's hard to think now. Is there going to be It's hard to think how our midfield is going to cope. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
It's going to be very, very, very difficult. But hopefully, Mate Sarr or Skip is going to step up. But then on the flip side of that, Højbjerg is going to be asked to play every single game now, pretty much till the end of the season.
And you know as well, when he gets overplayed, how detrimental that can be for him as well.
Yeah. Very, very tough to take this Bentancur injury news, but that's the breaking news today. Bentancur out for potentially 6 months, which will take him out until August, which is a potential of after the start of next season till he's back fully fit. So, which is very, very hard to take.